Look at that beautiful shot from our tower cam on a Saturday morning at 10:30. Yeah, it's live. Hey there, I am News4JAX Meteorologist Michelle McCormick, and I am so excited to bring you the Weather Authority Weekend Show, streaming on your favorite devices. All right, I wanted to take a look at Jacksonville Beach because honestly, I'd rather be on the beach. I'll be there shortly. Maybe I might go to the beach today, but look, it's so pretty. Everyone's already out and about, just staking their claim in the sand. I'm going to give you a quick forecast for today and let you know what you can expect on your Saturday before we really get into a fun show for you today. Right now across the area, temperatures in the mid 80s. It's really feeling hot out there already. We have plenty of humidity and that heat index is already feeling like in the low 90s. Heat index, heat, humidity, it's all here to stay. My morning article on the web was all about that too. But I want to tell you, your Saturday is not going to be a complete washout. That's the great news. We have plenty of clouds that are going to start to roll into the area. And by 2 o'clock this afternoon, we will see some heavy downpours, maybe some frequent lightning, also some gusty wind conditions associated with these storms. These are summer storms, right? The heat just rises, flares off all these storms, and it could be a heavy downpour where you are just for a few minutes, and then it moves on out of the area and you hear the rumbling, and it might leave behind some aerial flooding as well, especially in areas that have already seen some rain. We've had a lot of rain this week and a lot of rain in July. So by 4 o'clock, just some blobs of green. These are going to be your lighter areas of rain, heavier rain along the Columbia, along the Bradford and Union County lines through southeast Georgia. Your storms will also be moving in. We didn't see much rain through here yesterday, but look what happens around your Saturday evening dinner plans. Not a complete washout if you want to do a barbecue. Just keep your eye on the sky and download our app. The new Weather Authority app is really nice. There's tons of new features on it through the settings. I'm happy to walk you through it. If you want to send me an email, we can hop on a call. I'll be happy to walk you through our new Weather Authority app and let you know about some of the secret hidden things that are really fun about that app. You get alerts and headlines, all that. Anyway, Futurecast shows the rain really just becoming more of a factor later on after sunset or right around sunset. So sunset tonight is just about 8:24, and that's when we're really going to start to see some of these heavier systems just to the west of 295 out near US 301 between there and I-75. So all right, as we move through the hours, you'll hear some rainy conditions overnight. Our lawns are super saturated too. So hour by hour today, the rain chances will start to increase after lunch. Temperature will top out around 92 degrees today with that feel-like temperature around 10 degrees warmer than what we're seeing. So might feel like 102. It's going to feel like 103 in Orange Park, no doubt, later on this afternoon. And here's what the feels like is by hour. And this is for Jacksonville International Airport, right? So that's where our main weather, every time we say the high of the day, it's really based on the airport. And then temperatures will drop back into the upper 80s throughout the day. All right, here's a look at the Jacksonville International Airport. No problems traveling out of here weather-wise, but if you do have travel plans, make sure you call ahead. It looks like there's a delay right now at JFK. That's pretty normal, I would think, for travelers heading to JFK. It's always behind, it seems like. Look at the high temperatures across the country, though. We are seeing hundreds in El Paso, Phoenix, Vegas. These two are always vying for who's going to have the hottest temperature of the day. And really, it's hot in Minneapolis. Not a lot of air conditioning up there. Lots of lakes, though. Tropical outlook, there is a disturbance that the National Hurricane Center is watching right now. Right now, a very minimal chance of development, but it's definitely something. We haven't seen any activity in the Atlantic for quite some time. So we are watching that, of course. And then your 7-day forecast looks a lot like this. So the 90-degree weather, we've been kind of talking about this on and off too. And Mark wrote a really great story on our website about how many days in a row we've been at or above 90 as the high of the day. So we are on trend right now. Today is day 37 in a row. And the highest is 50 days in a row set in 2010. So we're already in the top 10 of numbers of days in a row. And these are from like 1871 or 72 when they really first started tracking when the record highs. But we are on track to continue this 90-degree or more high of the day officially at the International Airport. Like I said, today, if we hit it, would be day 37. Now, tomorrow, that's this 90. is what we're forecasting, but even the National Weather Service is kind of teetering between 89 and 90. So it'll be interesting to see if we break that trend. And of course, we will be telling you all about it. All right, I want to give you a heads up about a Florida tropical training that you can take with the amazing meteorologists at the National Weather Service throughout the state of Florida. And you can still sign up for their free courses. They're all virtual and they have set times. And this is what they're going to be covering. They're going to be talking about on day one, which is Monday, they're going to be talking about monitoring the tropics. They're going to show you some of the behind the scenes stuff that they do at the National Weather Service. It's really cool. And then they're going to talk about getting ready, being prepared, and how essential that is. On Wednesday, they're going to talk about sheltering and hunkering down. You know, we hunker down, we have all our essentials, we have our generators. When is it safe to stay? When is it safe to leave? When do you have to leave? And then on Thursday, they're going to talk about storm safety. So you might want to sign up for that. Again, like I said, it is free. So Weather Authority weekend topics that are coming up after we take a break. Why is it so hot? Everybody's saying, you guys are always talking about the same thing. You're talking about the heat, you're talking about the humidity, you're talking about the heat index. Yeah, that's because it's a major factor in our world here, especially in Florida. Why is it so hot? Well, I asked a senior meteorologist from the National Weather Service here in Jacksonville, Enyedi. She's amazing. She is going to tell us all about why it's so hot. And then we're going to take another break. So you're going to want to stick around after I talk with her because we're going to talk about Twister. Now, if you watched our first show here streaming the Weather Authority weekend on your Plus channel, if you watched it last week, I had John on with us, John Acebus. He's our new anchor and reporter. He's from Oklahoma, and we talked about Twisters, the movie, versus the old Twister movie. Well, John's not with me today, but I do have Steven. He is our director. He saw the movie. He's going to give you some feedback about his thoughts. We have some facts about the movie, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show. And of course, you can email me here at mmccormick@wjxt.com for anything, any topics you want. I'm always looking for guests. We can talk weather, and it's a lot of fun. So stick around after the break because you're going to want to hear why is it so hot from Angie and the National Weather Service. We'll be right back. Weather Authority weekend, and joining me now from the National Weather Service right here in Jacksonville is senior meteorologist Angela Enyedi. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
I really appreciate you. So let's talk real quick about the National Weather Service. It's right here. It's at the airport. What area do you cover?
So the Weather Service, we're like the behind the scenes meteorologists, and there's a total of 122 field offices, like the office that I work out of here in Jacksonville. And our service areas are created by county clusters. We call them county warning areas. So not only does the Weather Service office here in Jacksonville provide forecasts and warnings for Duval County, Clay County, the metro area, but we also have forecast and warning responsibility for a total of 29 counties. We go up
29.
into, yes, that's right. We go up into southeast Georgia, about 14 counties up there, up to the Altamaha River. And we also have responsibility down into north central Florida, down towards Marion County.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really large, and you go west to I-75 or beyond?
We do, yeah, correct. We go all the way out towards Suwannee County, Hamilton County, so it's just a little west of the I-75 corridor as well.
I'm not going to test you on your county knowledge, but I'm sure you know all 29 counties in your region. All right, so give us an overview of what the National Weather Service does. We know you watch the weather, you put out forecasts, you do aviation and marine, but what is an overview? How many people are in the office? I mean, what do you guys do for us locally?
All right, very good. Well, we are, like I said before, kind of the behind the scenes meteorologists that are doing a ton of different services to help gather weather intelligence, provide forecasts, and then ultimately provide the life-saving watches and warnings. That's kind of our bread and butter. So we do everything. In fact, this morning, Michelle, before I came over, I put up the weather balloon. We still do.
That's so cool. I want to go see a weather balloon launch.
That's right.
We're going to do that next time.
Okay, excellent. So weather balloons, I mean, that's carrying up a little instrument called a radiosonde, and that radiosonde's collecting really important weather information through all the different layers of the atmosphere. So Weather Service offices, we do everything from gathering the actual observations that are put into numerical forecast models. And then our forecast models run, and then we, as well as you and your team here at Channel 4, we look at the forecast models to try to come up with forecasts. But we have a variety of customers. Like Michelle said, we support aviation customers, forestry, marine partners, but also the general public and also our media partners with weather forecasts and information. And then we look at these forecasts, and as I mentioned earlier, our real bread and butter is seeing where weather patterns are coming together that may trigger a certain type of weather hazard, whether that's a freeze event or a tropical cyclone. Those are the kind of watches and warnings that your local weather service office provides.
Right. So we send out alerts on our app. We put them out on our website when there is a thunderstorm watch or a thunderstorm warning. You know, you have thresholds. If you want to just briefly talk about what fires off each one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So in general, we have watches and we have warnings. And both terms, they can get a little confusing. When a watch is issued, whether it is a tropical storm watch or a flood watch, a watch is messaging that the ingredients are coming together in the atmosphere for that particular weather hazard to possibly form. It's like a heads up kind of product, okay? A warning is issued when that specific hazard is imminent, when we're really expecting an impact, whether that's a freeze event or a severe thunderstorm.
Right, and that's more of a happening now.
Correct,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep, and we want folks to take protective actions, whether it's, you know, from severe weather to get to their safe place immediately when a warning is issued, or whether it's they need to try to mitigate their crops or livestock, whether it's if it's a freeze warning.
Right.
So the warning means we want you to take action now to get safe or protect your property from that particular hazard.
Well, and what's your website that people can go to? Because it's so informative.
Well, thank you. It is weather.gov/JAX.
There you go. All right. Why is it so hot? So I brought Angie in because every day you hear us here at News4JAX talking about heat index and the humidity and how hot it is. And it's summertime in Florida, and we talk about that all the time. But why is it so hot? Why is it so hot?
It's summertime in Florida.
Summertime in Florida.
Welcome to Florida.
Well,
right?
and it's the heat index, I think, that people, you know, we're always warning people about if you have heat-related illnesses, you know, it's not safe to be outside. Stay hydrated, wear your light, loose-fitting clothing. And these are all the safety tips. But what's the science behind it?
So we all have heard the saying, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And what we've really seen, actually the past couple summers, have been streaks of elevated heat index. Now first, let's talk about the heat index. I know we have several terms up here that we can talk about, and in terms that you may have heard of. So we want to kind of break down what these are and how we might be able to apply them. So first of all, heat index, it's what it feels like to the human skin when we consider the humidity in the air and the temperature. And yes, we have had an extended streak here already in July of high heat indices. We had a similar elevated streak last year in August. So
right, and we had 100-degree days last year.
100-degree days plus the heat index, which is getting near 110 degrees. So we do have a warming climate. On average, the global temperature has warmed by like 2 degrees on average since like the late 1800s. With the warming climate, the air can hold more moisture. And when we have more moisture, we have higher humidity. And so we have had higher heat index values over the past couple summers than what we've seen in the past 30-year climatology for the Jacksonville area.
Yeah.
Typically, our climatology, we see our heat index for the Jacksonville area is around 102 on average, getting into late July through early August. But the past couple summers, we've been reaching that 105 to 110 degree threshold for extended days at a time. And there's just more moisture in the air, more humidity in the air.
Yeah, so, and then a heat advisory or heat index advisory at 108. When it's 105, feeling like 105, feels like 150 to me. So I know the National Weather Service locally has the heat advisory level set, the minimum, at 108. What is that?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up, because no matter where you go in the country, what what defines a heat advisory is going to be different because all across the country,
Arizona is going to be very different.
Right,
than
we
what
have different heat tolerance, if you will. You know, for us being in Florida, you know, our heat tolerance might be a little bit higher than those that live up in the Midwest. So keep that in mind before we get into local definitions. No matter where you go in the country, the definition of what triggers the heat advisory, what does your local heat index have to get to, can be different. So for us locally, as Michelle mentioned, our heat index of 108 degrees is our threshold for when we issue a heat advisory. That parameter that defines the heat advisory is discussed between local weather service offices, emergency management, as well as local health officials on when do we start seeing more heat related impacts? And that's how we come up with the local criteria for heat products.
Okay, and there's excessive heat. And then there's excessive heat warnings. And have we had those past summers? Like, I guess you said 110 was the heat index last summer, and we had those 100-degree days.
Yes, correct. So actually last summer, I've been here working at our local office for almost 24 years. And last summer, we had several days of issuing excessive heat warnings, and that's when our heat index is expected to be 113 degrees or higher.
Wow.
And last summer we had several days of those, and that's the first time in my 24-year career we issued so many. So it is a warming climate, and it is it's able to hold more moisture. So that heat index increasing is at least the past couple summers been a fairly common thing for us.
Yeah, and it's trending that way. And we're already seeing multiple days in a row of at or above 90 as our temperature. So, and it's only July. And you were saying last summer we were seeing these into August.
That is correct.
So we aren't even really in the thick of it yet. All right, Angie, let's leave our viewers today with reminding them about the safety tips when we have high humidity and heat.
Absolutely. So we've all heard it, stay hydrated. And hydrated is water. A non-sugary sports drink. I know we all have our idea of what we want to be a hydrating beverage,
right?
But to keep your body functioning well, it needs to be hydrated. And honestly, you need to start drinking that fluid before you even feel thirsty, because when you feel thirsty, you're already starting to get dehydrated. So just regular sips of water or non-sugary type of a beverage, a drink, can help. For those that are more vulnerable to heat-related impacts, whether that's the elderly or if somebody has medical concerns, and the young, even infants, take breaks, don't overexert yourself. Even, you know, I love to run, but I now have a threshold of saying if it's over 90 degrees outside, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's just not healthy. It's just not safe.
It's not. You're really overexerting your body. And we hear about it, unfortunately, every year where you have these extremely fit athletes that succumb to heat-related stresses outside.
Yeah.
So it's better to, you know, conserve and mitigate and head outdoors either in the early morning hours or in the evening, even after storms have come through.
I was going to say, after the evening
that can
storms,
feel really good. Yeah.
After the evening storms come through, then you definitely want to make sure you take care. All right, Angie Enyedi, the senior meteorologist from National Weather Service Jacksonville, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back to the Weather Authority Weekend on News4JAX Plus. And we talked a little bit about this movie last week. I had John Acebus from the morning show. He does our 9 a.m. and some reporting for us. He came from Oklahoma recently, and I grew up in Texas, so we were talking last weekend about this movie and the trailer, and I have been seeking someone to talk to me about it because I haven't had a chance to see it. And this morning, I had Steven come and said, "Oh, have you seen Twisters yet?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, let's talk about it." So give us what do you do here, Steven?
So I'm a morning show director. I come in at 4 in the morning and do most of the shows, you know, make sure all the graphics are good, make sure the video plays, you know, make sure everyone looks good. You know,
yes, thank you.
Thank
you for
it's a lot of work, but
it is a lot of work.
Every day's a new puzzle, so it's fun to put together.
Well, thank you for that. And you saw the movie. I brought us some popcorn, so we're going to have like a little bit of a Twisters movie review and talk about some of the facts. But tell me about your experience. Did you see the first movie?
I did see the first movie.
Okay.
And it's funny because I'm going to date myself here, but back when DVD players first came out, that was the first movie my family got.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, in 1996.
1996,
Yeah.
I know. So it's a long time ago now. So I really liked it though, because most of the time the sequels never live up to the original. But
Right.
I think this one was fun. I've been disappointed by a lot of sequels before, but this one was a lot of fun. The opening sequence right away was just so intense that I turned to my wife and I was like, is this a dream sequence? Because it got so bad so fast. I was
Okay.
freaking out. And it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't. So, and then it just, got even more intense from there and there. So it's just, wow.
Well, a friend of mine was telling me they went, and she and her husband went, and they sat in the D boxes, and it felt like they were on a Disney ride.
Oh, yeah.
Because the boxes were moving so much that you can turn down the intensity of the seat, but she was like, she didn't want it to end.
Yeah, no.
So what were some of the parts of the movie that you felt, did it live up to the original one? Was it better than the original one?
I mean, as far as the sequences go,
Yeah.
like the drama and the intensity, like it was shaking. My wife has an Apple Watch, and it kept going off, like saying, like, "Hey, your heart rate's been over 100 for a few minutes. You're sitting still. Are you okay?" Like,
Really?
just freaking out. But
Okay.
I mean, there's a part where the tornado hits like a gas refinery plant, and there's just fire everywhere. There's vehicles flipping around. There's all kinds of just intensity.
Any flying cows?
No flying cows.
No flying cows.
There's a chicken though,
All right.
but not a cow.
I remember that so well.
Very good.
From the first Twister movie. Now, some data here that I looked up was in 1996, so 28 years ago, the opening weekend totals were just over 41 million, and this year 80 million. This is the third largest opening for a disaster movie.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty good stuff right there. And we're talking 1996 money versus 2024 money, but
Probably pretty
so it's
comparable.
Comparable,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the cast and crew, they were all big fans of the original, because there's a lot of references to the original one. You don't have to have seen the original one to like kind of get this movie, because it's just tornadoes. But
Yeah.
there's like the Muskogee State emblem on a lot of the equipment. There's even a Dorothy that shows up within like the first couple
saw
of
that.
minutes. Like, it's amazing. And Bill Paxton's son even has a cameo in it. And
Okay.
it's kind of funny to see him. It's just sad, what happened to him. But
Right.
But I'm glad they were able to pay homage to him by putting him in the movie. So it's good.
Well, that's awesome. Like I said, we were going to go see it last weekend. We didn't, but hopefully I'll go see it this weekend and I can finally see it for myself. But I like the feedback. Now, what about, we were going to talk a little bit about the science. So
Yes, exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah, as a meteorologist, are you able to kind of turn off that little scientist thing in the back of your head that's like, that could never happen. That's not realistic.
I'm able
That's
to do that.
You are? Okay, because I know some people that can't, because they'll be like, nope, can't deal
do
with
it. Nope,
Can't deal with it.
Because it is a CGI created tornado, right?
Yes, exactly. And some of the sequences, like the tornado takes 10 minutes to get from here to here. You're just
yeah.
okay, that's going to take a while, but
Yeah, even that it doesn't take that long,
yeah,
right?
exactly. But it is fun. It's actually funny because when we finished the movie theater, we walked outside, pouring, absolute pitch black, super dark, raining. I felt we were still in the movie.
Right,
so.
you couldn't plan that better, right?
Exactly. It was just like, oh my gosh.
10 what's your rating score?
I would probably give this 8.5 out of 10.
Oh.
I think it's fun. It's a perfect summer movie. It's easy to watch. It's not anything too deep. You gotta think about a lot, but
Okay.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Well, I will have to go check it out. If you've seen it and you have any feedback, I tried to find another friend to come on and talk about the review as well. But Steven and I think you sold me on wanting to go see it even more.
Yeah, my wife is already ready to go back. She's like, can we go on Monday again?
Really?
Yeah, so we saw it in the XL screen too, so that was really fun. It wasn't
okay.
the 4D experience, but it was
Yeah.
the XL screen, so even got more intensity.
I don't know if I can move with the seats.
I don't know
That
either.
one, it sounds kind of like my stomach would hurt, especially with some popcorn.
Popcorn, get the
All right,
snacks.
so if you are checking out our online website today, news4jax.com, read about the July rainfall totals, okay? Because there has been more rain this month than on average. And Katie wrote a really good story about it earlier this week. And then daily weather stories. Be sure you read the Meteorologist Daily Weather Stories. We're giving you an update. We also post videos, and you can check it out at news4jax.com, and you can always check out our weather app as well. But let me know what you've enjoyed about the show, or if there's things we can improve upon. I'm loving hearing your feedback. So topics you'd like to learn more about: boating. I've heard some of you want to learn about cruising. I'll try to throw that in there too. So shoot me an email at McCormick at WJXT.com. Steven, thank you so much for staying after work and hanging out with me.
Appreciate it. It's great to
talking
be
about
out
the
here.
movie.
Yeah, I never get to be on this side of the camera before.
You sure don't. You are behind the scenes pushing all the buttons.
Exactly. It's great.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a great Saturday. We really appreciate you tuning in, and make it a good one. Be safe out there.